What's up, Vault Hunters? It is finally here. We are diving deep into the huge September update for Borderlands 4. Gearbox just dropped this massive patch, and it's supposed to fix a ton of the stuff we've been dealing with since launch. So let's just get right into it, see what's what. Okay, so let's not beat around the bush. The launch, it's been a bit of a bumpy ride, right? I mean, the community has been loud and clear about all the performance problems. You know what I'm talking about, those super annoying frame drops, the random crashes, all the bugs just getting in the way of a good old loot and shoot session. But it looks like the cavalry has arrived. A brand new patch just went live, and guys, when I say it's massive, I mean it. We're talking a whopping 11 gigabytes. A patch that big, that tells you there are some serious changes packed in there. So the big question is, what did they actually fix?
All right, first up, let's talk about the stuff that's going to affect pretty much everyone. We're going to cover the big performance fixes and a certain something that our console friends have been waiting for.
So right off the bat, they've gone after stability. Big time. This patch is tackling all that annoying stuff, the general hitching, the FPS drops, and oh my god, those infuriating infinite loading screens when you're trying to play crossplay. The bottom line, the whole game should just feel a lot smoother and more stable now. Finally. Now, those general fixes are great, for sure, but there's been one major feature that console players have been absolutely begging for since the game came out. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Yes, it's here. The FOV slider is finally in the game for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. This was the #1 thing, and they actually did it. You can finally widen out that view and see more of what's going on around you. Okay, but there's a little catch here you need to be aware of. Gearbox did put out a warning that if you crank that FOV way up past the default, you might see some performance drops. So, yeah, you get that awesome wider view, but you're going to have to play around with it. Find that perfect sweet spot for your system where it looks good without tanking your frame rate. Okay, so the big performance stuff is out of the way. Now let's get into the really juicy stuff. The stuff we all live for, right? Let's talk about what's new for your main. The buffs to our Vault Hunters, and of course, the gear. All right, all you Vex mains out there, listen up. A couple of really nice fixes for you. First, that Blight attunement passive, it wasn't actually damaging the Timekeeper boss, which was super frustrating. Well, that's fixed now. And Spirit Bomb, it will now count as companion damage, which, as you know, is a massive deal for getting your build to work just right. And Amon players, you weren't forgotten. You're getting some much-needed attention, too. The Primal Surge passive is now going to do its job and actually restore your shield and ammo, which is, kind of critical. On top of that, his Rocket Punch and the Seeking Forjax are way more reliable, so hopefully no more whiffing those all-important hits. And just a couple of quick but really important fixes for Harlow and Rafa. For Harlow, Flux Generator won't accidentally heal enemies anymore, which, yeah, that was a pretty big bug. And her Accretion lifesteal for your team is now consistent. And for Rafa, the Blowout passive stacks correctly now, so you're actually getting all the damage you're supposed to. Now, let's talk about the guns. The Armory got a nice little tune-up. Tediore weapons, they got a straight-up 10% buff to damage and magazine size across the board. That makes them way more interesting. The legendary Hellwalker, it's now guaranteed to be fire element every time. And a couple of Order weapons also got some nice little bumps to damage and fire rate. Okay, so this patch is great for everyone, but my PC players out there, you know we can always tweak things to get even more performance. So let's do a quick run-through of the best settings to really maximize your frame rate. And look, the numbers here really do speak for themselves. If you dial in the right settings, the performance gains are huge. We're looking at a test rig with a 4070 here, pushing an average of 134 frames per second at 1080p and a super smooth 126 at 1440p. I mean, that is a night and day difference. All right, here are the settings. Go ahead, pause, take a screenshot, do whatever you gotta do. This is a fantastic baseline for getting a great mix of visuals and performance. The big things, use DLSS or FSR on balanced, turn on frame generation if your card supports it, and you're going to want to drop things like foliage density and volumetric fog to low. They're real frame killers. And please, I'm begging you, turn motion blur off. Just do it. So with all these fixes in place, what's next? What's the plan for the future? Well, let's take a peek at the developers' whole philosophy on how they're going to balance the game from here on out. And honestly, this quote right here is music to my ears. The creative director, Green Timmons, basically said they're going to start by buffing the stuff that's underperforming instead of just nerfing everything that's popular. This is so good for the game. It means we get more viable builds, more fun options, instead of just having our favorite toys taken away.
Now, what about those completely broken, totally busted builds? You know the ones. They're using what the devs politely call unintended interactions. Well, they know about them. They're on the list, but it's not their top priority right now. So for the time being, it seems like Gearbox is just going to let us have our fun with the crazy stuff while they work on bigger picture improvements.
So that really just leaves us with one massive question, doesn't it? As we look ahead, with this whole buffs over nerfs mindset, what do you think should be next? Which Vault Hunter, which skill, which gun type desperately needs a boost? Let the theory crafting begin.